Lord Ram will come also, that list of avatara. So two things whether happens. Some living entity also incarnate as a Lord incarnates as a some living entities.
So just like it said, if Brahma is not available, no living entity, Brahmaji's post is usually by living entity. If no one is qualified to occupy the post, then Lord himself occupies. Yeah. Similarly, sometimes Indra's post also.
Those Kumaras, we know these living entities. Yeah, Narada is living entities. So when in this mention is the lists are there, Lord incarnates. That means this Lord are living entities. Which
So normally, of course, we understand Narad is a Nitya Siddha. He's a Nitya Siddha Jiva. So he's always an eternal associate of the Lord. And we understand he's a Shaktivesha avatar.
Okay. Yeah. So like Kumara also, these are also like Shaktivesha.
Yes, they're Shaktivesha avatars, basically.
Dattatreya has been mentioned here. And generally in the Maharashtra, they are putting the Dattatreya in a three-headed Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh. So what exactly is that?
That will come later on. When it comes in which canto? There's a description of Dattatreya. Details come in. Yeah, one of the further cantos, there's more details. So that time we can see.
Prabhuji, this Kapil incarnation.
All details of these incarnations will come later, okay? So let's come to the 28th verse, which is the most important. As far as the details of these are concerned, they'll come in the further cantos. Tata saptama akutyam rucher yagyo bhayayat sa yayadye suraganer apat swayam bhuvantaram. Read.
The seventh incarnation was Yajna, the son of Prajapati Ruchi and his wife Akuti. He controlled the period during the reign of Swayambhu Manu and was assisted by demigods such as his son Yama.
Okay, 13. Ashtame merudvyam tu nabir jata urukramaha darshayan vartmadhiranam sarvashrama namaskritam.
The eighth incarnation was the king Rishabha, son of King Nabhi, and his wife Meru Devi. In this incarnation, the Lord showed the path of perfection, which is followed by those who have fully controlled their senses and who are honored by all orders of life.
Okay, we'll just read the translations, just so that we can go a little faster. Read the translations. 14.
O Brahmanas, in the ninth incarnation, the Lord prayed for by sages, accepted the body of a king, Prithu, who cultivated the land to yield various produces, and for that reason the earth was beautiful and attractive.
Next.
When there was a complete inundation after the period of the Chakshusha Manu and the whole world was deep within water, the Lord accepted the form of a fish and protected Vaivasvat Manu, keeping him up on the boat.
The 11th incarnation of the Lord took the form of a tortoise whose shell served as a pivot for the Mandarachala hill, which was being used as a churning rod by the theists and atheists of the universe.
In the 12th incarnation, the Lord appeared as Dhanvantari, and in the 13th, he allured the atheists by the charming beauty of a woman and gave nectar to the demigods to drink.
In the 14th incarnation, the Lord appeared as Narasimha and bifurcated the strong body of the atheist Hiranyakashipu with his nails, just as a carpenter pierces cane.
In the 15th incarnation, the Lord assumed the form of dwarf Brahmana, Vamana, and visited the arena of sacrificial arrangement by Maharaj Bali. Although at heart he was willing to regain the kingdom of the three planetary system, he simply asked for donation of 3 steps of land.
In the 16th incarnation of the Godhead, the Lord as Bhrugupati annihilated the administrative class, Kshatriyas, 21 times, being angry with them because of their rebellion against the Brahmanas, the intelligent class.
Thereafter, in the 17th incarnation of Godhead, Sri Vyasadeva appeared in the womb of Satyavati through Parasar Muni, and he divided the one Ved into several branches and sub-branches, seeing that the people in general were less intelligent.
In the
In the
18th
18th,
in
in
the
the
18th
18th incarnation, the Lord appeared as King Rama in order to perform some pleasing work for the demigods. He exhibited superhuman powers by controlling the Indian Ocean and then killing the atheist King Ravana, who was on the other side of the sea.
and 20th incarnation, the Lord advented himself as Lord Balram and Lord Krishna in the family of Vrishni, the Yadu dynasty, and by so doing he removed the burden of the world.
Then in the beginning of Kali Yuga, the Lord will appear as Lord Buddha, the son of Anjana, in the province of Gaya, just for the purpose of deluding those who are envious of the faithful theist.
Thereafter, at the conjunction of the two yugas, the Lord of the creation will take his birth as the Kalki incarnation and become the son of Vishnu, Yasha. At this time, the ruler of the earth will have degenerated the plunderers. O Brahmanas, the incarnations of the Lord are innumerable, like rivulets flowing from inexhaustible sources of water. All the rishis, Manus, demigods, and descendants of Manu, who are especially powerful, are plenary portions or portions of the plenary portions of the Lord. This also includes the Prajapati.
Okay, so coming to the 20th verse. Etejam
Ram
shakala
Sakala
pumsa Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam Indrari Vyakulam Lokam Ridayanti Yuge Yuge.
All of the above mentioned incarnations are either plenary portions or portions of the plenary portions of the Lord. But Lord Shri Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. All of them appear on planets whenever there is a disturbance created by the atheists. The Lord incarnates to protect the theists.
Okay, read the first paragraph of the purport.
In this particular stanza, Lord Shri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, is distinguished from other incarnations. He is counted amongst the avatars, incarnations, because out of his causeless mercy, the Lord descends from his transcendental abode. Avatara means one who descends. All the incarnations of the Lord, including the Lord himself, descend on the different planets of the material world, as also in different species of life to fulfill particular missions. Sometimes he comes himself, and sometimes his different plenary portions or parts of the plenary portions or his differentiated portions, directly or indirectly empowered by him, descend on this material world to execute certain specific functions. Originally the Lord is full of all opulences, all prowess, all fame, all beauty, all knowledge, and all renunciation. When they are partly manifested through the plenary portions or parts of the plenary portions, it should be noted that certain manifestations of his different powers are required for those particular functions. When in the room small electric bulbs are displayed, it does not mean that the electric powerhouse is limited by the small bulbs. The same powerhouse can supply power to operate large-scale industrial dynamos with greater volts. Similarly, the incarnations of the Lord display limited powers because so much power is needed at that particular time.
So the Lord is the complete powerhouse and He gives powers according to the need. You can distribute this. So this is from the Sri Krishna Sandarbha, where Jiva Goswami is very analytically analyzing this verse and establishing Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, so we can go through this. Somebody begin to read. No, okay. You can read the highlighted section of this.
Now in the Krishna Sandarbha, he says we must decide the identity of Bhagavan.
Okay, read the first line anyways.
In the first three of his Sandarbhas, Sri Jiva Goswami discussed the supremacy of Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead. Bhagavan is superior to both the Brahman, impersonal, and Paramatma, super soul, features of the absolute truth. Now in the Krishna Sandarbha, he says we must decide the identity of Bhagavan, or rather the identity of Swayam Bhagavan, the original form of the personality of Godhead. Why? Because there are many incarnations of the Lord, but we must know which one is the original form of the Lord. The answer, he says, must be decided by careful analysis, and that is the subject of the Krishna Sandarbha. Before the advent of Lord Chaitanya, Lord Sri Krishna was not widely accepted as Swayam Bhagavan, only as one among many incarnations. His personal abode, therefore, along with his eternal associates and their eternal pastimes together, were not accepted. Various statements in the scriptures imply that Krishna is not the original form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For example, somewhere it is stated that Krishna is a plenary expansion from Narayan, elsewhere that he is an incarnation of Mahavishnu, and elsewhere an incarnation of the hair of Kshiroda Shai Vishnu. Still elsewhere he is said to be an incarnation of Garbhoda Sai Vishnu, of Vamana or of Lord Rama. There are many other statements in this vein. The Sandarbha puts such statements in proper perspective. In fact, here in the Krishna Sandarbha, Srila Jiva Goswami displays his brilliant scholarship more than in any other book. In the first chapter of Bhagavatam, the assembled sages put 6 questions to Sota Goswami. One of them was this: Please, O intelligent sage, tell us about the auspicious incarnations of the Lord. That request is answered in the 3rd chapter, where the incarnations are listed. Only the chief ones are listed. However, because the Lord's incarnations are unlimited, just as rivers flow from an unlimited source of water, unlimited incarnations appear in the world, one after another. To list them all is impossible. So the 3rd chapter lists only 22.
Okay, pass.
The essential verse. Following the list of incarnations, one of the most important verses of Srimad Bhagavatam appears, Etecha amsha kalaha punsaha krishnastu bhagavana swayam indra ri vakulam lokam mridiyanti yuge yuge. This verse forms the basis of Sri Krishna Sandarbha. The verse says, these incarnations are portions or portions of the opulence of the Lord's Purusha incarnations. But Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. The incarnations descend in every age to please the devotees by removing the demons who trouble Indra. Jiva Goswami says that this is the key verse because it mentions the original personality of Godhead, Swayam Bhagavan. Indeed, it states categorically that Krishna is that original personality of Godhead. There are several verses in the Bhagavatam about Krishna, but none are so definitive and clear. So he calls this verse the emperor verse because it can defeat all others. He therefore analyzes this verse in great detail, word by word.
Pass on.
Ete, he says, means these, cha means and it signifies others. So Ete cha refers to the 22 incarnation listed, and before them the Purusha Avatara, the three forms by which Vishnu oversees the creation. It also includes the unlimited other incarnations not listed. Although these others are not directly mentioned, they are implied in the Sanskrit by the word cha. The word
Okay, so the word cha implies all the other incarnations not mentioned. Okay, good.
The word amsa means section or portion. It applies to expansions and expansions of expansions. The word kala means opulence. The word pumsha means person, and Srila Jiva Goswami says that it is a synonym for Purusha. So the verse states that all the unlimited incarnations comes from Purusha Avatara. One of the 6 standard methods of analyzing a text is to see whether the opening statements and the concluding statements confirm each other. In this chapter of the Bhagavatam, the opening statement refers to the Purusha incarnation of the Lord Bhagavan, and the concluding statement in this Ete Chamsa verse. So, Sri Jiva says that if we study the first verse of the chapter and the first 2 lines of the concluding verse, we shall find that the 2 words Purusha and Bhagavan are used in both Pumsha and Purusha being synonyms. Both verses then state that all the incarnations come not directly from Krishna but from the Purusha Avatara. So from the Purusha Avatara, and Krishna is Swayam Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead himself.
Okay, pass.
Purvamimamsa, which says that in a logic, a later statement is always to be taken.
No, I can read the whole thing, no problem.
Krishna, incarnation or source. So now we may ask, who exactly is Krishna? Earlier, the 23rd verse of the chapter states that Krishna and Balaram appeared in the Vrishni dynasty as the 19th and 20th incarnations. Now, he Ete Chamsha verse states that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But if Krishna is an incarnation, how then are we to conclude that he is the original personality of Godhead, the source of all incarnations? In reply, Sri Jiva Goswami refers to the Purvamimamsa, which says that in the logic, a later statement is always to be taken as more powerful than a previous one. A simple example illustrates how this works. If you ask for a glass of water, then say, no, actually I would like a glass of milk. It is clearly understood that you want milk, not water. On this reasoning, therefore, the later statement that Krishna is Swayam Bhagavan, the original personality of Godhead, is definitive and final.
Okay, so this is one logical reason he's saying. So why Krishna's to Bhagavan Swayam, even though his name is there in the list of incarnations, but since the later statement says that he is the source of all, he is the original, so therefore,
Like this example which Jiva Goswami has given, that first one says that I want water and then he says milk. So one is changing the mind, but this kind of behavior cannot be expected from a transcendental scripture. You have to be definite, like you can't expect that you say one thing now and
this is just one logical explanation that he's giving. Okay, it's not the only explanation. This is one logical explanation that he is giving to prove his point. So you have to go through everything and then it is established, not just one. Okay, go ahead.
On this reasoning, therefore, to leave no room for doubt, Jiva Goswami studies the point from yet another angle. Again he cites the Purvamimamsa, which lists 6 criteria by which one can determine the most powerful statement. By these criteria, there is a type of statement called a Shruti, that is independent and needs no elaboration or interpretations for the full meaning to be understood. Such a statement stands as the most powerful. By this guideline, the statement Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam is a Shruti. It is unambiguous declarative statement, absolute and categorical. It needs no interpretation and in fact is more powerful than the earlier mention of Krishna as one of the 22 incarnations. Another point to note is that in the list of incarnations, the word Bhagavan is used only for Balram and Krishna. It is not used anywhere else in the list.
Okay, so these are all the various arguments he is putting forth.
Guruji, but Bhagavan is used so many places for Narada, Vyasa and others also.
But here in this list he is talking about. He is talking specifically in this list. Okay.
But Bhagavan, as used in that verse, applies to both Krishna and Balram. So someone may protest that this creates ambiguity. If you put a lamp on the threshold, it gives light both inside and outside. Similarly, in the list of incarnations, the word Bhagavan gives its meaning to both Krishna and Balram. Jiva Goswami says, yes, but that is all right, because technically Lord Balram is also not an incarnation. Then why are Krishna Balram listed as incarnations? Vyasadeva could have listed 20 incarnations and then stated at the end that Krishna and Balram are Bhagavan. Then things would have been clear. Srila Jiva Goswami counters that Krishna and Balram are listed because there is some similarity. Just as the other incarnations appear and seem to take birth and so on, so do Krishna and Balram. That's why Vyas listed them as incarnations.
Okay, so very logically he is proving each point. So, because even they come, when they come to this world, they also come like other incarnations, they also come from Shirodaksha, Vishnu, they also seem to have parents and all that. So therefore they are listed as incarnations, because incarnation, avatar means what? One who descends. So they are also descending, so therefore he put them in a list of incarnations, but they're not like ordinary incarnations.
Also, I don't know whether it will come ahead, just want to mention. Also, Krishna and Balram, as they are in the Goloka, come only once
in a day of Brahma.
In a day of Brahma in 1000 Divya Yugas. So other 999 times or 993 times, whatever calculation, it is an incarnation only. It's not direct Swayam Bhagavan.
Yes, that's true.
They also come as Krishna Balram. That time also it is Krishna Balram avatar happens, but it is only like Dwarka Krishna or Mathura Krishna.
No, some other form comes, some other incarnation. Not Swayam Bhagavan.
Just like it is said that in Kali Yuga, other than this Kali Yuga, Gaur Narayan comes.
Yes.
He is not expansion. He is not directly Krishna.
Yes, not Swayam.
But he will spread holy name.
Yes.
Similarly, other Dwapar Yugas, Krishna comes, who is an expansion, or we don't know.
Some other incarnation. I don't know the exact detail who exactly comes, but some other incarnation. Swayam Bhagavan comes only once in day of Brahma.
If we like avatara means we define as one who descends from the spiritual world.
Correct.
So, and in the list of the avataras, the name of Mohini Murti is also mentioned.
Okay.
But as in teachings of Lord Chaitanya, it is mentioned that Mohini Murti doesn't exist in the spiritual world. Or even Hamsa avatar, they don't exist.
Hamsa and Mohini Murti have been mentioned.
And even like sometimes we are told that even Buddha, he doesn't have a planet in the spiritual world.
So yes, so that's a general definition. There could always be some exceptions and all that. But that's a general definition. Avatar means one who descends. Okay, fine. Continue.
Krishna stands apart. As Srila Jiva Goswami continues his word by word analysis, he comes to the word tu, which means but. It is a pivotal word, for it signals the reader or listener that what is about to come is different from what came before. In this chapter, the topic is incarnation. So by using tu, the author signals that Krishna is not among the incarnations. The word tu is also used to indicate the beginning of a definitive statement.
According to the rules of the Sanskrit, tu is used for those definitive statements classified as Shruti, or the most powerful statements described earlier. In effect, therefore, tu gives increased force to the categorical declaration that Krishna is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now Sri Jiva Goswami explains that in the list of incarnations and in the Ete Chamsa verse, the word Bhagwan has the same meaning. It conveys that in reality Krishna is not an incarnation. In fact, he is not even the source of incarnations. He is the source of incarnations. As Srila Jiva Goswami comes to the third line of the verse, he says that it is not to be linked with the second. In this four-line verse, the second line stands alone because its theme completely differs from what appears in other three. The use of the word tu serves to separate the second line from the rest of the verse, since Krishna doesn't come for the sole purpose of ridding the universe of Indra's enemies. His coming is not like that of the other incarnations. Therefore, the line about him stands apart from the other three lines, which speaks about incarnations. Srila Jiva Goswami makes a grammatical point to support this view. The word mridyanti is plural and Krishna is singular. So Krishna cannot be included in the plural usage of mridayanti vyakulam. In Sanskrit, the subject and verb must agree both in gender and in number. Here they do not match in number. So the verse makes sense only if Krishna's to Bhagwan Swam is taken as separate.
So that's the significance of the word tu. That makes the whole difference. Shows how the second line stands apart from the rest of the verse. Okay, the rest of these are the main points that he's presenting, and the rest you can read on your own. So therefore, further down he says this is called as the Paribhasha Sutra. Up until this verse, nothing has been said about who is Swayam Bhagwan, but now Vyasa says Krishna's to Bhagwan Swayam. This is a perfect Paribhasha Sutra. Whenever the Paribhasha Sutra and any other statements are in conflict, we must accept the Paribhasha as superior. The Paribhasha statement is always supreme.
So, it is said that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has clarified that Krishna is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. But the commentaries of Acharyas were there before Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also. So how they were translating this verse then? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given this understanding that Krishna is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead.
No, Krishna is always known as Supreme Personality of Godhead. No?
But in the here the statement that we understand that Krishna is always the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. But this understanding is to humanity is given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Like that the statement was.
Where? Which statement? Before the advent of Lord Chaitanya, Lord Sri Krishna was not widely accepted. Widely accepted.
Okay.
So he was but we know that Mahaprabhu essentially spread the movement very widely, and before that the number of devotees was definitely less. And people had so many misconceptions, so many different ideas. So it was not widely accepted, but there were always devotees who understood anyway. Okay, fine. So whoever recites the mysterious appearances of the Lord with devotion in the morning and in the evening gets relief from all miseries of life. Okay. So the rest of the chapter is about the Virat Roop and other things which again will be covered later on. And going to the 38th verse, he describes who can understand all this. Only those who render unreserved, uninterrupted, favorable service unto the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, who carries the wheel of the chariot in his hand. can know the creator of the universe in his full glory, power, and transcendence. Only the pure devotees can understand all this. Okay. And then the last part of the chapter is the 40 to 44 is describing the glories of the Bhagavatam. So we'll just go through these 4 verses. 40th verse, Uttama shloka charitam chakara bhagavan rishi nishreyasaya lokasya dhanyam swasteyanam mahat.
This Srimad Bhagavatam is the literary incarnation of God and is compiled by Srila Vyasadeva, the incarnation of God. It is meant for the ultimate good of all people, and it is all successful, all blissful, and all perfect.
Tadidam grahayamasa sutam atmavatam varam sarva vedeti dhyasam saram samudritam.
Sri Vyasadeva delivered it to his son, who is the most respected among the self-realized, after extracting the cream of all Vedic literatures and histories of the universe.
Satu samshravayamasa maharajam parikshitam prapyopavishtam gangayam paritam paramarshivi.
Shukdev Goswami, the son of Vyasadeva, in his turn delivered the Bhagavatam to great Emperor Parikshit, who sat surrounded by sages on the bank of the Ganges, awaiting death without taking food or drink.
Krishne swadamapagate dharmajnanadivisaha kalau nashtadrishamesha puranarko dhunotitaha.
This Bhagavad Puran is as brilliant as the sun, and it has arisen just after the departure of Lord Krishna to his own abode, accompanied by religion, knowledge, etc. Persons who have lost their vision due to the dense darkness of ignorance in the age of Kali shall get light from this Purana.
Tatra kirtayato vipra viprasher bhuri tejasah aham chadyagamam tatra nivishtastanugrahat soham va shravayishyami yatha ditam yatamati.
O learned Brahmanas, when Sukadeva Goswami recited Bhagavatam there in presence of Emperor Parikshit, I heard him with rapt attention, and thus by his mercy I learned the Bhagavatam from the great and powerful sage. Now I shall try to make you hear the very same thing as I learned it from him and as I have realized it.
Read the purport.
Once one can certainly see directly the presence of Lord Krishna in the pages of Bhagavatam. If one has heard it from a self-realized great soul like Sukadeva Goswami, one cannot, however, learn Bhagavatam from a bogus hired reciter whose aim of life is to earn some money out of such recitation and employ the earning in sex indulgence. No one can learn Srimad Bhagavatam who is associated with person engaged in sex life. That is the secret of learning Bhagavatam. Nor can one learn Bhagavatam from one who interprets the text by his mundane scholarship. One has to learn Bhagavatam from the representative of Sukadeva Goswami and no one else. If one at all wants to see Lord Krishna in the pages, that is the process, and there is no alternative. Suta Goswami is a bona fide representative of Sukadeva Goswami because he wants to present the message which he received from the great learned Brahmana. Sukadeva Goswami presented Bhagavatam as he heard it from his great father, and so also Suta Goswami is presenting Bhagavatam as he heard it from Sukadeva Goswami. Simple hearing is not all. One must realize the text with proper attention. The word nivishta means the Suta Goswami drank the juice of Bhagavatam through his ears. That is the real process of receiving Bhagavatam. One should hear with rapt attention from the real person, and then he can at once realize the presence of Lord Krishna in every page. The secret of knowing Bhagavatam is mentioned here. No one can give rapt attention who is not pure in mind. No one can be pure in the mind who is not pure in action. No one can be pure in the action who is not pure in eating, sleeping, fearing, and mating. But somehow or other, if someone hears with rapt attention from the right person, at the very beginning, one can be assuredly see Lord Krishna in person in the pages of Bhagavatam.
Okay, so that's the way to see Krishna in every page of the Bhagavatam by increasing our purity. Thus end the Bhaktivinoda purports of the first canto, third chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Krishna is the source of all incarnations. Okay, thank you very much for your kind attention over the last few days. So we hope that you will write your closed book exam and open book tests and the shloka tests. And we hope to have your association again in the future. Thank you all very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Samved Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, we are very thankful to His Grace Vamshodhan Prabhu for explaining the depth of Srimad Bhagavatam first 3 chapter. So we will thank him by chanting 3 times Hare Krishna, Hare Bol. Another information, next week on 12th of March from 11 to 1, we have closed book exam, 11 to 1. So it will be 50 marks, 2 hours exam, 50 marks. So please prepare from the Purva Swadhyay, whatever questions are there, Purva Swadhyay, analogies. Both will come in the exam, 50 marks, 11 to 1, 12th March. Yes, for this time. 3 chapters, 12 March, 11 to 1, 50 marks, 2 hours exam. Hare Krishna. क्या? No. Every answer and question on the same paper. Open book before open book exam question, you know chapter 9, page 19 number in booklet, question 3. I will message all this thing before second unit begins.